Hey, everybody. This is the She's the Owner podcast. I'm your host, Karen McCarran, and it is International Women's Day. If you're watching this on YouTube, I apologize ahead of time for the state of me today. I don't know. You know, what's really weird is like I feel hungover, but I did not drink. I feel super hungover. And I think part of it is that I'm getting my period and I had a choppy sleep again. Just super frustrating. It doesn't always happen, but it definitely does happen. My eyes are puffy and it's weird. I just feel super kind of out of it today. And so I thought, why not get on camera? Why not be crazy? So International Women's Day, I'm not gonna, I think every fucking day should be International Women's Day, if I'm being honest. And um, I find it like, of course, it's beautiful to be honored in that way, I suppose. Um, That's the dog trying to get more food out of a bowl that is completely empty. Um, why, I don't, it's kind of obvious why I would say every day should be International Women's Day, but I want to talk about worthiness. So a good friend of mine, Amanda O'Reilly, is the co-founder, or not co-founder, sorry, founder and creator of the necklace I'm wearing, and it's called a Worthy Wand. And her and I know each other through the Tony Robbins world. And oops, sorry, I just on Instagram we became friends, and then the rest is history. I love her. I'm quite jealous, actually. She's in Clearwater, Florida right now, loving her life on the beach, and I'm staring at some snow. So either way, all good. So worthiness, like, I guess, and this isn't maybe going to be like my typical podcast. I'm probably not going to go deep into like business tips or relationship tips, but I just kind of want to bring up bring our attention to, when did we decide that we needed to, like, it's right now in the world. Yeah, this is going to be quite a riff. So buckle up, people. PMS has got me triggered on some situations right now. I mean, everyone's triggered on situations right now. And I think mostly where I'm feeling this anger, I would say, is around, first of all, having to have a specific day to acknowledge women. And I, again, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not looking at the negative only. I'm definitely looking at how beautiful that is, that we are honored on a specific day of the year, all women. But I think where my issue comes in is that we as a species have dramatically reduced the worthiness of women over the last several hundred years, maybe 1,000 years, thousands of years, couple thousand years at least. And my question is, why the fuck would that need to happen? Why does that, why? And I know, like, if you do the, you know anthropologically and sociology, and all, I get it. I mean, I understand, men feel fear, and they feel fear for the power that a woman has, and we make people and they can't. And I understand, like, all those basic things, but like when you get to the core of it, why why are we made to feel, why are we given this, like, I work with women in particular to help them find their worthiness, help them find their voice, help them find their connection to back to their heart, help them find, why it's okay to start the business, why it's okay to be masculine energy in your company and feminine energy at home. Like, I have a job, I have a career, I have a business, I have a brand, because we've been made to feel like we're not allowed or worthy of our own power. And I don't mean like, I mean like feminine energy power, right? You see a woman who's dressed how she wants to dress, and maybe that's not as many clothes as I would wear. And right away, she's a slut, she's promiscuous, she's all these negative things. Why not? She's just a feminine goddess, right? Like, it's super frustrating to me when I think about all the work that has to be done in order to rectify and balance back. Like, it wasn't always this way. There was a time women were definitely revered, and I should brush up on my history so I could have a more intelligent conversation about what it used to be like. But Cole's notes is we were the bomb.com. We were treated like the goddesses we are. We were not vilified. We were not witches. We were, women's intuition, right? Like there was a time in history where that's my alarm going off to tell me something delicious. There's a time in history where, your intuition, if you were clairvoyant and you had strong intuition, you were a fucking witch and you were killed. Like, what? Why does it have to be this way? Like, really, I'm asking the question, and this might not be this is not my typical kind of podcast, but I woke up and I just thought, actually I went to sleep, and maybe this is why I had a choppy sleep, thinking about Putin and thinking about Biden and thinking about Trudeau and thinking about, most of the leaders are men. Most of them are having a fucking temper tantrum right now, like legitimately. Like, does anyone else see how fucking comical the state of the world is? And I know it's serious and it's terrifying. I'm not even saying that about it that way. I'm saying, look at, if an alien group was looking at our world right now, they would be fucking like laughing hysterically because it's fucking funny. It is a giant fucking temper tantrum with all these goddamn men. And it's fucking disgusting already. It's disgusting. People are dying. Innocent men, women, and children dying. For what? For a temper tantrum. Like, if you peeled back all of the bullshit that people say about war, it's a fucking temper tantrum. It's a guy in power somehow ruling everybody, decides he's going to get his way and his way only, and he's going to have a little shit fit if he doesn't get his way. And he starts fucking bombing people, shooting people, burning down the fucking country. It's a temper tantrum. And I'm frustrated, man. I am fucking frustrated. I'm frustrated watching it happen. I'm beyond myself watching what my own fucking prime minister is doing. Like, whether or not you agree with the COVID protocols and all of it, if you cannot look at this and see that it's just a dick wielding fucking exercise, like, explain to me, make it make sense why one day a mask is necessary and the next day it's not. Because of science. Fuck off. That's horseshit. The science tells us those masks don't do shit. It's like throwing a fucking hot dog through a chain link fence. It doesn't mean anything. That's the particles of COVID, quote unquote, going through a paper mask or cloth mask. Hot dogs through a chain link fence. Right? So it's Trudeau exercising, flexing his bad behavior. Biden, the guy is like, time to retire, sir. That's a geriatric fucking tantrum. That's like a man with dementia who is running around, running amok inside the old age home. I just need to understand, like, make it make sense to me. Why? Like, I know it's hard to look at things right now and go, let's try and fix this. We need to fix this. Because what I believe, and it's almost irrelevant if I have support on this, truthfully, because it's what's in my heart, and so it has to be said. I really believe, I'm not saying we don't need men to run things and to support and to do the things. I'm not saying that. I'm saying we really need women. We have to wake up, ladies. We have to wake up. We have to wake up and see that the reason it's like this is not because there was too much love in these men's hearts. And that might seem cheesy, and that might seem like, oh my God, is she fucked? Like, why does it's rose colored tinted glasses, blah, blah, blah. It's not. Like, if you look at the problem and you think of it, it's so huge, it can be daunting, right? And you can be like, ugh, what's the point? I say it all the time in my mind. Maybe that's one of my subconscious things I need to work on. It's like, I get it. I get it. I can't imagine how Tony Robbins feels, right? Like, I mean, for him, thankfully, there are millions of people who have been impacted by him, and millions of things are, it's changing. But in the beginning, I wonder if he was thinking, I want to change the world. I can change the world. Or if he was like, holy fuck, what a tall order. I don't know if I want to even get into it. And I feel that way now. Like, I know I'm at the point in my life where I'm like, there are days when I think, whew, man, that's a tall order. That's a tall order. We're going to change the world by creating love soldiers, really? And then I remember, like, what is the other option? There is no option. There's no other option. There's no option to just be like, okay, guys, keep fucking up the entire planet. Go for it. And here's what's real. Like, I'm one person. I need to teach other women how to operate. Like, when I say how to operate like a love soldier, I mean, stop dead in your tracks when you're acting like a dick and make a new choice. Like, to me, that's the epitome of what a love soldier is. Do I do it every time? For sure not. Do I do it way more than I did 6 months ago? Yep. I just did it now. My dog was pissing me off, making me so mad. He's only 8 months. He's cute as shit, but he's a pain in the ass. He's a puppy. And he wanted to be fed. And I was like, I've trained dogs before. I'm pretty good at it. I'm able to get really, good results with training. This fucker, you cannot train him. He's a Shih Tzu. He does what he wants. And I'm not used to that. I'm used to having dogs that are trainable. And so I was getting more and more angry. I was trying to record this podcast and I was getting more and more pissed off. And I'm starting to shout and be like, Scott, for fuck's sake. And then I was like, if I'm in my heart right now, what can I do in this moment to make it not so shitty? Because I'm in my ego trying to do something, and my dog, who doesn't give a rat's ass that I'm trying to do a podcast, he's all like, no, I'm hungry, bitch, feed me. I just looked at him square in the face and started fucking laughing. I was like, that's love soldier fucking behavior, right? Learning how to stop and just be like, okay, is this really that big of a deal? Like, sure, I'm high PMS right now. Like, I'm getting my period in the next probably 8 hours, probably 4 hours. I am super high PMS. Stuff like that really annoys me, obviously, at this time of my cycle. But like, is it really, in the big scheme of life, the biggest deal that I can't record my podcast for 6 more minutes? I have to go put his food together. My dogs are on Raw, so I have to do a little bit of work. No, it's not a big deal. Like, and those are the things that will stack in your day where you're like, by 5 o'clock, you're like, fuck this. And then you're snapping at your kids, you're snapping at your husband, you're snapping at employees or clients or whatever. So it's like, you think about these guys, it's like one stacking over another over. Like, I get it. There are certain men, certain governments, right? Like, people have to defend the Putins of the world. I understand that. But like, why do we have them to begin with? Where's the glitch? And this is even a call out to my brothers. Like, where is the glitch in these men where this guy thinks, because I don't want to be a part of fucking NATO, and Ukraine is next door to me and they are going to be a part of NATO or already. Like, why is that license to go and fucking kill people? Like, why is he waking up, going to bed, whatever, in his day thinking, you know what? They don't want to do what I want them to do. So I think I'm going to bomb them. No, I don't care what anybody fucking says. There is never a good reason for war. I understand defending, but like, where I'm at is like, why do we have to create situations we have to fucking defend? Like, that's where I'm stuck. And maybe that's naive. And maybe that makes me like, I don't know, whatever, I don't even know. But I mean, in my heart, I'm an innocent. I think everybody is in their heart, but I really do believe and really do have a hard time. I have a hard time understanding about racism. Like, I have a really hard time wrapping my head around the fact that there is racism. Like, I really sincerely have a hard fucking time understanding the concept. Like, when did somebody of one color decide the other person's not good enough because of the color of the, like, it's fucking mind-boggling to me. It's literally, I really do struggle with understanding why anyone judges anyone on their color of their skin. Like, I get, and it gets people triggered sometimes because they're in their fucking head and they're in their ego and they're like, oh, you're, white privilege. I get called that. I've had that called to me, white privilege. And I'm like, listen, I'm still stuck at the beginning, you guys. I'm still fucking stuck at the start. Like, where did anyone think one day, those are black people and their skin color is different. So let's be fucking assholes to them. Or those are aboriginals and those are, let's be like, what? I don't get it. And I'm not naive to think it doesn't exist. Like, don't fucking at me about that. I'm naive to try and understand why it's even a thing. Why is hate ever even a thing? Why? Why do we hate people that are, transgender, gay? Why does that matter? Why does it matter? I don't understand humanity. And this is part of why I get so frustrated because, I look at it and I'm getting emotional, but I just look at it and I think if everybody just stopped and got into their heart and looked at life through that lens, we would be a completely different humanity. Like, I really have such a hard time comprehending why people do what they do. And not just like people now, I mean, in ever, where did it change? Why did it change? And I know people are different and people have different experiences, but like, when did the first person decide, hey, look there's a 12-year-old girl, I'm going to sell her for sex slavery? Why did that person think that thought? Why did that happen? Why did they burn women at the stake? Why is any of it like that? I just, and I think I have to believe that fundamentally people are want to be better and want to live in their hearts. And that's why I do the work I do. Because the level of pain in this world is really out of control. And it just seems to be getting worse and worse and worse because we have things like social media, we have things like fake news, we have things like, anyone can say anything and it's taken as law. We have things like being restricted to do basic shit. And it all, you follow those threads and they all follow back to a man who is, for some reason, hurt beyond measure and behaving like a spoiled little fucker. And the only way out is love. The only way out of this is it's not to get, going and push and be more aggressive. It's just, I just picture like, that's what I'm going to wrap it up with. I picture a field full of people and you have a line down the center and you've got all these men, let's say 10 of them, who are like Hitler and Putin and Trudeau and Biden and all these really aggressive and hateful people. Because they are, make no mistake, the things that all of them have said about the people is, disgusting, reprehensible. It's awful. So I see them there with like, let's say 100 people on that side of the fence. And then I see us over here, 50 people on this side of the fence. And if you picture going to the fence and bringing one person and saying, I love you, and I really want to be with you and hang out with you, and I want to learn more about you, but you have to come over to this side of the fence. And one by one, we teach those people, those 100 people, about love and acceptance and how there's no need to compete because there's enough for everybody. And we all want different shit, but come over to the fence and let's have a good time. And then you're left with the 4 or 5 of these hateful men who really won't have a choice but to come over to this side or to heal, or if not, just stay put. But it's like one by one love soldier at a time is how we're going to change this and change the world. And yeah, I love you. I hope you have an amazing day. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.